This is Jeremy here at Manual Music Meltdown, back with another video. What do you have for today, guys? Is another ranking of the albums video. My last one I did was the Ozzy solo catalog, just because I was listening to Ozzy quite a bit after his passing, and it seemed like an easy thing to do, just kind of knock out the ranking at the same time. And the next one I wanted to tackle here, as you saw from the thumbnail, is Black Sabbath, and kind of the same reason. I've been listening to a lot more Sabbath than I normally would, just because of after Ozzy's passing. I went back and visited a lot of albums, and of course the Ozzy era mostly. And I listened to Sabbath quite a bit, but after his passing, I really kind of listened to a lot more. And I figured, what the hell, I've been listening to all the Ozzy era stuff, so let me just kind of tackle the rest of the albums while I'm at it, and do another ranking for you guys. So let's jump right in and do the ranking. There's 19 albums in total. They've had various lead singers, as everyone knows. One thing I kind of didn't realize going back to do this exercise, just how many albums Tony Martin was on with Black Sabbath. He did a lot more than I remembered. I think he's on like 5 or 6 albums in total, like quite a few. But yeah, that's one thing I forgot about when doing this ranking. So let's jump right in, guys. The first one I got here, the last 19th place, is Forbidden. It's always been my least favorite Black Sabbath album. The production I don't like at all on and on, to be honest. Tony Martin's vocals are decent. This is the album, if I'm not mistaken, where they were initially considered having Ice-T do all the vocals, which would have been like, what the hell? He does star in one song, but if he did all the vocals, I don't think it would have been good at all. But I still don't like it, to be honest. It's the one Sabbath album I really don't like, and I never go back to it. I don't even own a copy of it. But something had to be at the bottom. And my number 18, again, these two were pretty much always been my kind of least favorite Sabbath albums. Never Say Die. Last studio album that had Ozzy on vocals, but my least favorite of the Ozzy albums, and one I never go back to. It's got a couple decent tracks, like Johnny Blade's okay, Air Dance is okay. But overall, it's just what I never really go back to, and I always kind of forget about. And for the Ozzy era, it's always been my least favorite. Next we got here is the album Seventh Star. This is the album that was meant to be like a solo album for Tony Iommi, but at the time the record label wanted to put it as a Black Sabbath album just because they thought it would sell better that way. But it just definitely sounds different than typical Sabbath. But it's got Glenn Hughes on vocals on this one. Glenn Hughes is awesome, but this album's just okay for me. Like, it should have been like a solo record, in my opinion. As a Black Sabbath album, it's just okay. And I knew it was going to be near the bottom of my list. Next, we got the album Tear. And this is another one that's got Tony Martin on vocals. From the Tony Martin era, I really do dig that era. I think it's pretty solid. It doesn't give enough attention, but my favorite eras has always been Ozzy and the Dio years. Those albums are untouchable in my opinion, but the Tony Martin era is really solid still. It's got some really good albums, but Tear just happens to be kind of the one I like, one of the least, so it's always been kind of near the bottom for me. It's got a couple good tunes on here. Valhalla's a good tune, and The Lawmaker's pretty decent. Heaven in Black, it's got some good tunes on here, but again, it's not one I go back to often. And next we got the second to last album, Cross Purposes. This is again the album with Tony Martin. He did near the end. Again, some decent songs in here. Psychophobia, Eyewitness, Cross of Thorns. Some good tunes, but overall, just an okay album for me. I knew it was going to be closer to the bottom. It wasn't a standout. Next we got Headless Cross, probably my favorite album with Tony Martin on vocals. Really strong, underrated album. The Headless Cross title track, Devil and Daughter, When Death Calls, some really good tunes on here. Black Moon, definitely my favorite Tony Martin album. And I got them mixed up, sorry. Next one should have been Eternal Idol, sorry. That was supposed to be the next one. Another Tony Martin album. I was looking at my list, I got them reversed. Eternal Idol should be the next one, sorry guys. And again, my second favorite Tony Martin album. Some really good tunes on this one, Ancient World and The Shining, Glory Ride. Some good tunes on here, but just not as good as like the Ozzy Dio era stuff for the most part. And now the next one, guys, is Headless Cross. Like I said before, my favorite Tony Martin album. And next we got Technical Ecstasy. This is an underrated album in my opinion. It's later in their career, but I think it doesn't get enough love. It's got Ozzy on vocals. It's got some really good tunes on here. Like it's a little bit different sounding for the band, but overall I think it's a really strong album. Gypsy's good. Backstreet Kids, You Won't Change Me. It's got some really good tunes on this one. Like it's super underrated in my opinion, and I knew it's going to kind of fall in the middle. Next we got Born Again. It's the only album that had Ian Gillan on vocals, and he does his really trademark, high-pitched screams. The production on this album got a lot of flack when it came out because it was really raw and kind of muddy production, but I think it kind of suits the music. And in general, it's kind of a more dense and heavy song and heavy music. I think the production kind of suits it overall. But Trashed is a good tune. Disturbing the Priest, Zero the Hero. Just some really good tunes on here. Ian Gillan, Screaming Up a Storm. I find this album gets kind of mixed reviews from fans. Some people love it, some people hate it. For me, it's kind of in the middle. I dig it quite a bit. But in the terms of their ranking, I have it number 11, so it's a little bit to the bottom, but not quite in the middle, almost in the middle. But pretty solid album. I still dig it quite a bit. Next, we got 13, which was their final studio album. The last one that had Ozzy on it, and I dig this album. A lot of people said it was too much of a try hard to sound like their old material, but I think they succeeded pretty well. It definitely carries that old like 70s Black Sabbath vibe with End of the Beginning, God Is Dead, Zeitgeist, Loner. Like it's got some good tunes. Live Forever. I really like this album. It's got some really good tunes top to bottom, and I go back to it quite a bit. So that's why I made kind of at least the middle part of my list. I really dig that album. I think it's pretty good. Next we got the last album that had Dio on it, Dehumanizer. I'm not including Heaven and Hell. Technically that should be a Sabbath album, but it's under a different name, so I didn't include it. But Dehumanizer is a really heavy album. Another one that I consider underrated. Dio's vocals are always killer. Cozy Powell, of course. But TV Crimes, Computer God, Master of Insanity, really good tunes on this one. Super heavy album and underrated, and always been one of my favorites. And now we're kind of getting into the cream of the crop here. The top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 8, I have the debut album, just Black Sabbath. Kind of where it all began. Love this album, very doomy sounding, very dark sounding. With the title track, The Wizard, NIB. Oh, just so many good tunes on this one. I don't listen to it quite as much as all the ones ahead of it, but it's our all-time classic, and you have to give your respect to where metal all began. And the next one here at number 7, I've got Sabotage, the 6th studio album. Really good album. Artwork is kind of stupid, but Hole in the Sky, Symptom of the Universe, Megalomania, just Am I Going Insane, Radio Edit. Just some really, really good tunes on here. Ozzy's vocals are unhinged and really insane on this album. Really, really sounds really good. And yeah, definitely had to make Closer to the top of my list. Always been one of my favorites. And next we've got Volume 4. The next one here, the 4th studio album, with songs like Wheels of Confusion, Supernaut, Snowblind. This one's a little bit lower on my list because Changes and then the FX instrumental are 2 songs I'm not really a big fan of. So that kind of brought it down a little bit from the top. But overall, really, really good, strong album, really good stuff. Really like it. And number 5, I have Mob Rules, another album with Dio on vocals. And really good album, really killer songs. This one I kind of didn't hear until much later in life for some reason. I was always focused on like the Ozzy period, Slap Material, and then Heaven and Hell with Dio. But for some reason, I just kind of never listened to Mob Rules until many years later. And it quickly became one of my favorites. There's so many good tunes on it. The Mob Rules title track, Country Girl, Sign of the Southern Cross is one of their heaviest songs, really good song. And of course, Dio's vocals just soaring to the heavens. Such a good album. Really, really good. A lot of people have this probably in their top three a lot of times, but for me, it's number 5. At number 4, I have Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, their 5th studio album. Really like this album. This is where they kind of got a little bit more experimental. And they got the title track, National Acrobat, Cadabra, Looking for Today, Spiral Architect, and even the instrumental Fluff is a really cool song. Really like this album top to bottom, always been one of my favorites. And going into this ranking, I knew it was going to make my top 5 for sure. And then going into the top 3, or these are kind of the 3 that I listened to with the highest rotation. Much more than the rest of the albums, to be honest, like 2 or 3 times more probably. At number 3, I have Master of Reality. Arguably the first doom metal doom metal album, the first stoner metal album. Like, they started it all with songs like Sweet Leaf, I love that song, Children of the Grave, Into the Void. Those 3 songs alone are just like all-time classics and masterpieces. And this is just a doom clinic. Like, it's just incredible album. Super heavy and dirgy. I just love this album. Sometimes it even goes a little bit higher on my list, but for now it's number 3. Number 2, I went with Paranoid. It's always been my kind of favorite Ozzy era album. That and Master of Reality kind of been duking it out. But it's just got pretty much a greatest hits album. War Pigs is my favorite Ozzy era Sabbath song of all time. It's got Paranoid, of course, Planet Caravan, Iron Man, Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, Fairies Wear Boots. It's a perfect album, top to bottom. Every song's a hit. It's like I said, a greatest hits album, and I never get sick of it. Even the songs like Paranoid, Iron Man, I never get sick of listening to them. They still sound amazing to me, and I just love this album. It's killer. It was also my introduction to the band. This is the first album I ever heard from the band as well. And number 1 has been my favorite Sabbath album for a long time. I'm sorry, Ozzy, it's not one of yours. It's Heaven and Hell with Dio on vocals. As soon as I heard this album, it instantly became one of my favorite albums of all time. With the title track is like a top 5 metal song of all time for me. Neon Nights, Children of the Sea, Lady Evil, Walk Away, Die Young. So many good songs, but the title track alone is just so amazing and the perfect heavy metal song. And this album, in terms of my albums in total, this is probably my 3rd favorite album of all time, behind Rainbow Rising, which also has Deal, surprisingly enough, and Opeth Blackwater Park. This is probably my 3rd favorite album of all time. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know down below how you would rank the Black Sabbath albums. I'm sure some of mine were surprising, a little bit higher than some people would put them, or some a little bit lower. But let me know down below how you would rank the albums, or at least the top 10 maybe. And thanks for watching, guys, and keep it metal.